Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Into the Red Rabbit Hole. I'm your host, Nighthawk, one of your hosts. We'll be bringing Mr. Carroll on here and Mr. Carlito on here in a little bit. I'm going to go through some of the opening stuff, and then we'll get into the thick of the conspiracy theories. And we got quite a few of them tonight we're going to go over. So, everything from reptilian to AI to the secret wars, all kinds of conspiracy theories going on. So we're going to be talking a lot about it, and hopefully our technology will hold out, and the forces that be that control this beautiful world we live in don't come down on us and shut us down. So that being said, copyright disclaimer. This channel may use some copyrighted materials without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the Fair Use Act of 1976. Furthermore, Nighthawk Eye Strange's podcast channel and all the podcasts do declare any and all content to be used for the sole purposes of informing you, the viewing family, of information for educational purposes, general knowledge, commentary, criticism, news reporting, teaching, parody, scholarship, and research use only per Title 17 USC subsection 107 of the Fair Use Act. Whew. All righty. As soon as Mr. Carroll gets situated. All righty. Let's see here. Now we're going to go to just a couple quick announcements, okay? Let's see here. We got the fall disclosure comes to West Virginia with the Flatwoods Monster Convention. That's going to be a good one. That my good friend and brother David Spinks is going to be involved in, and several very good speakers. Make sure you get there. It's coming up. I want to say September. This thing here doesn't have the date on it, I don't think, but it's for the most part, I think it is September. It's coming up. If not, it's probably next month, August. But anyways, make a long story short, Dave Spinks is involved, and whenever Dave Spinks is involved, you know it's going to be good. Okay. Hands down, the man is on the ball, and his other half, Serenity Jenny, is phenomenal. And if you want to see them both and meet them both, go to that Flatwoods Monster Convention in Flatwoods, West Virginia, at the Convention Center. Okay, and visit the Flatwoods Monster Museum while you're there too. Okay, so but there's that. Then we're going to go into the ECBRO, the East Coast Bigfoot Research Organization research team, headed by Daniel Benoit, is having a town hall meeting Saturday, September 3rd or 2nd, at 11 a.m., free and open to the public, to discuss and report on any I guess any cryptid sightings, but more to the point, it's going to be Bigfoot sightings in the West Virginia and Virginia area where they're at. And that's in Wires Cave Pavilion, at the Wires Cave Pavilion Center, Community Center in Wires Cave, Virginia. That is just probably... from the, how I want to say this, probably from the West Virginia state line on 81. That's probably about a 40 to 45-minute drive, just so you know. Okay. So if you're coming from that direction. So anyways, let me get that off of there. Then, of course, we got Nana Boss and her upcoming schedule, which I believe we're going to be going with the 17th and the 18th schedule. The 18th is the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group function. And then the 17th, the day before, is Ryan RPG is going to be on. So if you like RPG, you better get on that podcast and support her and support him. And it's going to be a good one. So that being said, if anybody else has any type of information they want to post, for upcoming events, or or even like you have your own podcast and you want to put your own schedule up, let me know in advance and I'll post it up as much as I can. I can't guarantee it every podcast, but I can at least try to get it up at least once in every podcast. Okay. So to help get the word out. Okay. So, hey, we're one big happy family. We do this, we share it, we like, heart, and we subscribe, and we have each other's backs, unlike unlike a lot of things nowadays that don't have our backs. So that being said, okay, oh, you guys are on mute. Let me get you guys off of mute.
Is it Friday and where am I
at? Yeah.
Wait a minute, I had a Biden moment there for a minute.
Yeah, you want to say, Carlito, you want to tell Dennis where he's at?
Yeah, you're on cloud
I'll
nine.
go sniff some children and nibble on some children there. Yeah. Okay. It's getting, you know what? I was telling somebody this the other day to you guys. I was saying, if I were to really, as a writer, if I were to write this stuff down, nobody would ever believe it. Okay.
Yeah.
But it's happening in real time in front of everybody's eyes, but nobody would believe if you wrote it. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's been a heck of a week for me, guys. I'll tell you that right now. I've had my doubts about what's going on, and I started checking into some stuff, and man, I had some weird stuff happening. I don't know if you can call it psychic attacks or whatnot, but man, I was definitely being attacked. Every time I go to research the secret war that's going on, it shuts me down. It literally, like, it takes me from my head to my feet and shuts me down completely mentally, like it getting hit with exhaustion and just shutting down.
It's a weird synchronicity going on here. So I got a broken finger here. And which I was telling William Carlito, never ever give dog man the finger, okay? You'll pay for it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, some weird stuff going on. I mean, I wasn't doing anything. I was just pushing a piece of paper down in a box. I had a little trash in a box, and I was pushing it down. It said pop. I heard it when it popped. I never have had that happen before like that. That's crazy. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. Did you fall into the box?
Well, I could have understood it if I'd have fell in the box, but that's the way it goes.
Oh,
I don't know. I guess when you get old, you get brittle too.
Oh,
I guess.
Now I'm getting hit with a low back. Unbelievable. It just gets better and better and better. Anyways, we got quite a few conspiracy theories tonight, guys. So I don't know. I guess I'll let you guys, if whoever wants to go first, can go first.
Well, Carlito, age before beauty, so I'll let you know. Wait a minute.
Silence.
Oh man.
I have that backwards. Okay.
Well, I would actually prefer y'all start yours because mine falls into yours, but I think y'all's is a little bit more detailed and more important. Mine's just kind of like a tag along. It's about reptilians among us. All this craziness going on with reptilians.
Okay. All right. Okay, Dennis. Well, if you want to lead the pack.
Well, I'm going to be talking a little bit tonight about what I consider what may be AI robots that are among us, sort of like the reptilians you're mentioning there. There may be some robotic entities being placed among us to learn from us, to assimilate what we do, and to really just like a test, to see how they go about and how much they could fool people into believing that these are real human beings. And I've said that statement many times before. I said I put that in my last book, The Road Unseen. There's things walking around that aren't human. They look human, and I think that's even more so today. And that since that incident with the lady on the plane, we've been talking a lot. What did she actually see that she would declare this was not real? Except for you, yeah. Well, uh, or me for that matter. But anyway, uh, you got. I think you've got a possibility of this going on. I don't know how big of a scale it is on. You know. I don't know how big this test might be, but I think I think it's a very distinct possibility that that is actually going on. And
Now, do you think
to
or
test
do you think that
AI among humans, that's the perfect way to test AI among humans, to get it to do what you want to do, and to assimilate itself into society for eventual future things that may go on with AI. Already they're trying to keep AI away from the buttons. You know what buttons I'm talking about? The nuclear button. Um, that would be a good
yeah,
idea,
mine?
definitely.
Yeah.
Um, but if like the Terminator movies, it gets down to that, we're going to be in some deep, deep, you know what here, because if these things get in power and take over these things like this, it's
Yeah,
going to be very bad.
I
And
think I
there's got to be and here's the thing about it. Somebody's not just going to come in and say, "Oh, well, turn this over to AI." It could be a representative, an image of the AI, which would be the robot with the AI brain in it, which would be almost like human. And it could go in, and you will be dealing with that in a one-on-one, like the Terminator thing. It's going to happen. I think it's going to happen that way eventually, and I believe that it may be an ongoing test right now. That's what's going on. That's what my conspiracy theory is tonight. Is that what's going on out there? Are there some AI seated robotic droids, or whatever name you want to give them, androids or whatever, out there in public right now doing some stuff? And it wouldn't surprise me. It would not really surprise
yeah, I think it's gonna go hand in hand because oh well, I don't know if y'all know, but my theory is that the people on top are reptilians, like the owners of this world, and I don't think they're from this world. I think they're from another world. We touched on that so much, on different planes, different uh, continents out of our known lands. I think they might be coming from one of those draconians, for example. And I think the top people in this world are reptilians, and they're like the main honchos that call all the shots, and have us all dumbed down with sports, TV, and all that, because they have another agenda, which is reducing the population and gaining complete control of the world, right? So I think it goes hand in hand again, the AI and the reptilians, because I do believe there's reptilians among us. We'll get into that further in the show, but I think it goes hand in hand, really. And I think that's why the rapture, they say that the rapture is coming, and and the veil is thinning, and I think we're starting to see a lot more of these things, like per se the lady in the plane, which nobody really has actual proof of what she saw, because
I've lost you there, Carlito.
Can't
I've
hear you.
lost sound.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. Sorry.
You still there, William?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, so I think it goes
Yeah,
hand
I'm
in
still here.
hand. I think it goes hand in hand, guys. The AI and and the reptilians, because like I was saying before, my dumbass didn't unmute my mic. That's what it was. I was here talking with my mic muted. Anyway, yeah. So the rapture, they're talking about the rapture's coming. The rapture's coming. Yeah, yeah, all that going on. And I think really the owners of this world are actually reptilians, the very very top guys on top over the elite. The elite are just like the people in charge, and then the bosses of them I think are reptilians from another world, from another plane, from another continent, past our known lands, and I think they're the ones really the gatekeepers basically, and I think they're the ones that are really in charge of of the whole scenario here in this world. And like I was saying, I think it goes hand in hand, the AI and the reptilians, because I think they even have reptilians infiltrating, posing to be human, which they're not obviously, but they try to blend in. And I don't know if you guys seen a lot. We're going to go over that here in a little more in depth. But I don't know if you guys seen a lot of videos and pictures where like the Secret Services guys are they look weird. They got like this alien face kind of deal, with big eyes, slanted eyes going up, or whatever. And I think those are reptilians that the reptilians on top put as bodyguards for special services, like maybe say the president and all the top leaders of the world.
Yeah.
That's what I
Yeah.
think
The
they go
one the
hand in
one
hand.
picture you're talking about. The one picture you're talking about, Carlito, is with Obama's Secret Service agent, where they showed him in the profile view of his
Yes,
face changing, reptilian face.
yes,
So,
and like I was saying,
kind of like, let me,
right, like I was saying about the lady in the plane. My take on that is that nobody actually has proof of if she saw anything, or if she was just drunk, or if she was just going through a crazy episode. Nobody really knows. It looks like she really was honest about what she was saying, though. But nobody actually has proof. And like I said, God forbid nobody in the plane took out their their telephone, their cell phone, and recorded either her or the guy she was talking about. Nobody did that. So until the lady comes back out, or the guy that she claimed to be was not real, which everybody's saying reptilian or whatever, um, until they come out, then we can have some straight answers. But until then, it's all just guesses and that's it. There's just people trying to guess what it was, but there's really nothing more to that video. Now they're starting to say that the focus is on her because she might be part of their distraction or whatever. She might be undercover. She might be this. She might be that. Some people went as far as to saying, because you know how she had the two fingers, like when she said, "I don't give two." You know what? Well, when she finished saying that, she left two fingers up and two fingers down like this, and everybody knows that that's the Baphomet or the devil. Baphomet, statue sign when he does this, right? So they paused it right as she put the other one down and still had the other one up. So now they're saying she's a Satanist or something, So, but I don't know, it's just all speculations, really.
yeah, yeah, it is all speculation until we figure out what exactly is going on. Um, Dennis, now on your AI thing, do you seriously think that she might have interacted with something AI on the plane, or do you think that it's an ongoing study? Do you think that it's just AI is just completely taken over already, and we're all living under an illusion? I don't know.
Well, I think it's just the beginning steps, William, the beginning process. of it. And there's another. I'm just sitting here listening to Carlito talking about that. There's another possibility we can look at too is the fact that AI and the reptilians may be in this together. I mean, there may be some influential things going on with the reptilians that may be instigating this AI in order to subjugate humanity. That would be a perfect tool for it if you think about it. And as I've said before in the past about the reptilians, I believe there's a definite demonic connection with the reptilians. Okay, so we know they're not good guys. They're not good actors. They're not in this for the good stuff. They're not. I don't think in this to help anybody but themselves mainly. Uh, and that would be a perfect weapon. Everything is weaponized in this universe. The powers that be, whether they're governmental or whatever, they're perfect score at weaponizing things. And that would not surprise me if AI falls in line with that. I'll tell you this right now, and I've said this before about AI. It's already in the hands. We know this of the Chinese and the Russians and the North Koreans. They all got a hand in this. Can you think that's just like a little 5-year-old kid with a loaded handgun? Something bad's going to happen sooner or later. And I think whatever the future holds with AI, it's not going to be good because of these kind of actors involved in it. I think the science itself, any science, any base of knowledge is not inherently evil in itself. It's the people that use it in that manner. Just like they blame guns for killing people, and guns have no brains. They're just an inanimate object. You can drive a nail with a pistol. I wouldn't advise that though, if it's loaded. But I mean, you can use it like a hammer, or you can use it to kill somebody. And that's what this stuff is all about. And it would not surprise me if the reptilians don't have a hand in this AI stuff. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree too. And the funny thing is that before we all decided on what we were going to talk about tonight, and I wanted to talk about the whole secret war thing. It's funny how everything's tying together because with the secret war that I've been investigating, the powers that be, the reptilians, are the ones coordinating that, so they could definitely coordinate the AI aspect of things. But they talk about we always talk about the shadow government and all that, and military industrial complex, and what's going on over there where there's a war going on and all that, and it's the wars that go on every day and every evening that we don't see. And the wars that I'm talking about tonight are the ones that a lot of people hearing the booms and the what they call sonic booms aren't really sonic booms. They are devices being used to fight back something that is fighting with us from under our feet. Something in I guess you could call it the inner earth, for that matter. But there was one gentleman that had a theory about it being the surviving Nephilim that were trying to come back to the surface and take over mankind and kill off mankind. And that our military is fighting it back, and that there's underground passages that go even below the oceans, the depths of the oceans, that connect each individual continent together, and how there's cave systems that are intertangled and tunnel systems, and that's where the fighting is going on, and that's why the Schumann resonance has increased in our planet. It went from I think it was regularly like 8.46 or something like that to up above 190 point something in resonance sound. You can't help but think too, with all the volcanoes and stuff that are erupting and going on and all the earthquakes going on and things getting heavier and heavier as far as that goes. Um, Something might just be going on underneath our feet, which ties into the whole
Well,
reptilian and AI
I
thing.
want to
So,
ask you guys: are you both familiar with the supposed reptilian conclave or whatever that exists under Los Angeles? Have you heard about that? I mean, are you familiar with that?
oh yeah,
There's supposed to be some
oh yeah.
a large, vast alien reptilian complex underneath Los Angeles City. Uh, and I think this goes back to like the 50s, the 1950s or late 40s, when this guy claimed that he discovered this area. And then what made me think about is what you said, William, about these underground sounds, these weird sounds that people hear. That there was supposed to have been some military engagement
Mm-hmm.
under Los Angeles with this. You know, there's a ton of viaducts like under Los Angeles, drain tunnels and stuff like that. That they say these things inhabit or use for their own purposes. And I'm gonna test you guys a little bit. I know this might be a little bit before Carlito's time, but do you remember a show called UFO that used to come on years ago when I was a kid? And it was run by an organization called Shadow, which I think stood for Supreme Headquarters of Alien Defense, or whatever. Anyway, what I'm bringing that up for, since it's a TV show, but what the whole premise was of the TV show, they were a secret underground, and they had moon bases too. They had all this stuff. They were a secret army fighting against these aliens, you know. And I've always thought the precept of that might have been taken from real life to a certain extent. That there is this sort of a, like William's talking about, a secret war that's taking place underneath us, mainly, maybe under the sea, under the ground. I've even heard there's a possibility of it being on Mars, the moon, and Mars. That this war is not just on this planet alone. You know, have you heard that? Any of that?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Definitely heard that. You know, there's so many things that we can question in this world that we live in. And the one thing we all have this part of it at least figured out is that, you know, logic would dictate that there is two factions that are fighting each other, and one of them is nefarious and evil, and the other is the good and the light. And this war has been going on for a very very long time. And now that they're incorporating AI into it, it's God knows where it's going to go. In fact, God is the only one that knows where it's going to go from there. So, um, yeah, it's definitely a strange world we live in.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's if such a thing like that is going on, and it wouldn't surprise me a bit if something like that isn't. There's definitely going to be some cracks in it. And I don't care what kind of a secret thing you've got going on, whether it's bringing dope in the White House or whatever the deal is, whatever you're doing in secret, it's going to eventually have cracks come in it. People's going to be able to see glimpses into what you're doing. And I think we do see that in an ongoing way in the world around us. But a lot of times, just like we've talked about
Yep.
people walking along looking at their phones all the time, they never look up anymore, like they used to. They don't keep an eye on that. I mean, a lot of things are going on, and people are asleep to these things. They're sleeping and they're dozing at the wheel, you might say, when it comes to this stuff. And they know this, and they can get away with a lot of stuff. They know that they can do these things and pull the wool over our eyes very easily. Especially nowadays, more so than ever before. I've been reading about a lot of different secret government programs that have gone on. There was one called, I think, Project Sunshine, which was actually, I know this is going to sound wild, but it was actually stealing the dead bodies of children who were killed at Hiroshima for scientific purposes. And of course, they never told the relatives about this. So that's grave robbery, government grave robbing. I mean, it gets real freaky with some stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that a lot of this stuff not going on. And here's another thing about the reptilians, Carlito. Do you think there's a possibility that some of the reasons why they deal with us is they are a cannibalistic type society, that we may be also not only used as slaves or whatever, but we're also a food source. I've heard a lot about that, saying that maybe, or
Yeah, I heard
certain
about
parts
that.
of the human body, like adrenochrome and all this
Yeah,
stuff that
yeah,
they
I
seek.
heard about
You
that.
know.
Yeah. Yeah, and that you know what? Also, that ties into Dennis to what I was saying at the beginning when I was muted. I think the people at the very top, the owners of this world, they're from another plane. Like I said, another land, unknown lands. That we don't know about yet. That we have a pretty good idea already, but we don't know about them yet. Like the draconians, the
Hmm.
draconian lands outside of our world, outside of our known lands or known continents. I think they're the very top, very top honchos of this world, and they're basically the
Hmm.
gatekeepers, like I said, and and I think they have they have their own agenda, and yeah, cannibalism is one of them because of course being lizard people, yeah, we could be a food source to them too, as well as slaves, like you just mentioned, and and another thing is that they I think their ultimate goal or agenda is to dumb us down, right, with sports
Hmm.
and TV movies, TV, all that news, all that. That's their goal, to dumb us down, keep us dumbed down, so we don't know what the real agenda is. So we can't wake up and see what's really going on, right? Like some of us do already, but most of the population does not. Um, and I think that uh, they're trying to dumb us down that way because ultimately for them it's all about control, ultimate control. So if they see that a lot of people are waking up to reality, to what the truth is of what they're really doing, because the like William said, another instance before, he said, the veil is thinning, right? So that's why we're seeing a lot more of these things happen today about the reptilians, like the lady on the plane or whatever. In the AI, being introduced, and all these things. That's why we're seeing more and more and more, because they're starting to see that we're starting to find out about it. So they're like, oh, you know what? They're starting to find out about it. So let's go ahead and put a rush on the order. You know what I mean, and make it happen. Now, the rapture,
Hmm.
what they call the rapture. So I think it's ultimately trying to control us completely, enslave us, and like you said, even a food source for them. And now going to adrenochrome, yes, that's the elite are known for that. And the movie that's out now, man, I got to go watch that before they take it down. The one, Freedom, what is it called? Freedom something. The new movie
Hmm.
with Jim Caviezel, the guy that played. It's the guy that played Jesus in Passion of Christ. Well, anyway, I think he's in the new
Right,
movie.
freedom.
The what? What is it called?
Cry freedom, I believe is the
Yeah,
name of
something
it.
with freedom. Yeah,
Cry freedom.
something like that. Yeah. So I don't know if you guys heard of this. That people going to see that in the at the movies, and they're starting to black out, saying that the movie is failing. Uh, they start to open the emergency doors and trying to get everybody to exit, and nobody will exit. Everybody stays watching the movie. Uh, some of them have some kind of malfunction on purpose or whatever, and they say they gotta wait, and people are there. Okay, we'll wait. We'll wait till you fix it, and we'll wait because we
Hmm.
want to see this movie. But they're trying to do that on purpose to get the people not to watch the movie. See what I'm saying? And if you notice, There's no trailers anywhere mentioned in any TV show, any TV news, anywhere. There's no trailers whatsoever for that movie, except maybe like Facebook or TikTok or whatever, because that's where people upload it themselves. But yeah, I don't know if you guys noticed that they're trying to keep the truth from the people, because
Sound of
that
Freedom.
Sound of Freedom. There you go. Thank you. Because that talks about them, the people in upstairs that, like Dennis said about the adrenochrome. Yeah, because they kidnap these kids, these children. They disappear, and and they got the scare factor, the torture factor, all of that. So their blood, like I sent you guys the video on Messenger. So the blood plus the oxygen raises the formula in the blood, which is adrenaline. First they scare them, the adrenaline, but then the oxygen, plays a big factor too. They got to have adrenaline and more oxygen, which is when they actually torture them. That's actually the stress. It's the adrenaline plus stress that gets the blood to where they want it. They drain it from the kids or whatever, and they drink it, whatever. I don't know how that all plays out, but that's where they take the blood from the kids to, I've heard, to make them younger. I don't know. Another thing could be maybe they just like the taste of it. Another thing, they use it in rituals or whatnot. I don't know, but that all ties in together too with the reptilians and the adrenochrome that Dennis mentioned. So yeah, it's crazy. It's getting crazy out there, guys. Really, man. I don't know if a lot of you are paying attention or not, but yeah, it's getting really crazy.
Well, it's interesting too, to know that the children would be the most vulnerable victims to things like this. Uh, that stands to reason they would go after the most vulnerable. I was reading just the other day about this child predator. He was talking about how he did things, and said that he would always, sort of watch the family unit, see what they were doing. He was a predator. That's what he was doing. Predators watch you. They figure you out. They know what you're doing and what they think you're gonna do. And he said the one thing that would ward him off was you would be the father being more able to protect his family. If he was a passive kind of a guy that just like you look like you can knock him over with a feather, then that was an open channel for them. But he said if the guy was kind of macho guy, he would go on to another target because that would be a factor, and so that kind of opened my eyes, and I said, yeah, well, that makes a lot of perfect sense. If you're going after a victim, you're definitely, you don't want any trouble. You want it to be a freeway, a free highway to it. You don't want any impediment, of what you're going to do. And I think that's why children are so vulnerable to these things.
Yeah.
And I just wonder how much of this ties into a lot of that stuff. I was just reading the other day. I think there's estimates that over 700,000 children have been taken out of Ukraine. What's about that? What about all these children? What's the big thing about that? So, whenever evil forces work, and that goes with the demonic. The demonic immediately goes after children and animals. Why? Because they're more susceptible. They're the innocent. They haven't built up a thing. They're not aware of these things like the older adults are. So I think you and I, people like us walking around on the streets, are kind of safe in some ways if we're open to understand what we're dealing with. But the real victims here are the people who says, "Oh, y'all full of a bunch of what? None of this is real. There aren't any such things as reptilian or AI robots or whatever the situation is, the secret war." They don't believe this. They are the ones that are making themselves vulnerable to these forces by not believing and not being open enough to understand what's going on. And they are really putting themselves and their family and relatives in danger to these things. So that's one thing we need to understand. We need to watch out for.
What do you think, William?
You don't want to know what I think, brother. I think that the powers that be are trying to control our show right now because my wife just got booted off.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
That's not surprising.
Yep.
We've encountered a lot of flack like this before in the past.
Yeah.
Certain subjects always bring out certain consequences.
Yeah. Well, these topics are pretty touchy, especially with the movie thing. Yeah. Ozzy said that they didn't let them show that movie in Australia, but they got some type of app or something that's putting it up.
Good
And
choice.
yeah, she says, I'm seeing so many mainstream media and other trying to discredit the movie. They're all in the cover for sure. Yes, absolutely. And was it? Yeah, there it is. It says, Ozzy Sue said, we're not allowed to have it here in Australia, but there's a channel on Rumble sharing it out. See, so they're trying to discredit that movie and they're trying to have it where uh, it can't be accessible everywhere. What do you think about that, Dennis? Dennis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Would you repeat
Oh,
that
okay.
last thing? You went out on me.
Oh, okay. I was saying that. What do you think about that? About the movie that they're trying to keep it? You know, they're trying to discredit that movie because it's got so many things that are so real on there, and they're trying to discredit it and not let it be available everywhere.
Yeah, that is interesting thought. I mean, to think of that's good. That's a good possibility. There's some of that maybe also going on with that. And I'll tell you something else that we've talked about before in the past about how Hollywood has come very close to some of these synopsis going on. And like I've said before, I think they have some inside information sometimes on some of these things because good writers are the best researchers. And you see some of these very same things popping up in a lot of movies. So it may not be about the whole movie, may not be about that, but you see these little clues lying. It's like they're playing a cat and mouse game with us to a certain extent. It's strange, but it's synchronicity. That's the word, synchronicity. I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the show. Synchronicity is a strange thing. It's almost as if something out there other than these things that we're talking about are trying to tell us something or communicate something to us or show us some profound wisdom on something. And like I said, we need to be open in some ways to this stuff. We need to be open to understanding a lot of these things. And here's one more thing I want to say. If these things are enemies of mankind, like I think they are, and they are really the bad actors, as I said earlier before, and we really need to be on guard against them, but we also need to keep an eye on them. We need to know what they're doing. We need to try to understand what they're doing. Although we may not can infiltrate their thing, their closed segments, we can from the outside see things if we open our eyes to what we're really looking at and understand what we're seeing. And like I said earlier before, don't walk around with your head, down. Don't stick your like the proverbial ostrich. Don't stick your head in the sand. A lot of people live a philosophy that's I don't see it, it's not gonna hurt me. That's stupid, okay? I want to see it coming. And if I've got an enemy out there, and I think we all have some very distinct enemies in this world, okay, folks? We want to know what they're doing. You want to study, I've run into that same problem, Carlito and William, with demonology. I've approached a lot of churches and say, hey, I'll do a presentation on demonology for your congregation. I'll be happy to do it. And they'll say, oh, demonology, we don't want anything to do with that. And I say, that's your enemy. You better know what he's doing. You better try to understand what he's up to. If you don't, he's got you from square one, just like a chess game. If you don't understand what your opponent is doing or what his next move may be, it could be checkmate on you real quick.
That is correct.
But they, people ridicule us, for talking
I
about
agree.
things like, oh, you're a bunch of conspiracy theory nuts, and all this. And that's one of the weapons they use to try to intimidate people to keep away from the truth. Oh, you're crazy, you're a crackpot. And believe me, I've been called that many times in the past, to the point I think that's my middle name now. But anyway, um, uh, to me, that's kind of a badge of honor, because at least I might be getting close to something. If they get that upset about it, they want to try to intimidate me and try to quiet me, then I know I'm making some progress.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, because I mean that's basically what it is. It's the people on top with their real agenda, evil agenda. Then there's us, the woke people that already know what's going on, and we're the whistleblowers trying to wake people up to the real, to the real picture, the big picture, you know. And then there's the people that don't know anything about it and they're just asleep, you know. How you say they're content and they're okay with their environment, their little house, their little job, and and that's all they care about, and they don't care about anything else going on in the world. They're complacent, so that's where we come in, and they don't like us because of that, because we're trying to open people's eyes with whatever, whether it be AI, reptilians, cryptids, whatever, paranormal, whatever, and they don't like us for that because they know that we're trying to wake the people up, and they don't like the people
And
wake up.
that's another thing, Carlito. People like us, like we're doing with this show tonight, we're connecting dots and looking at patterns. We're trying to figure out what's going on, what they see. That's another thing they don't like. That's the number one thing. It really is. We're screwing with them too.
That's right.
That's a
Yeah,
good thought, though. That's a
yeah,
good thought.
that
Because
is right.
hey, if I've got an enemy, and I was this way when I was in law enforcement, okay, if you're gonna come at me, I'm gonna come back at you. Okay, that's just the way it's gonna be. You know, uh, and I don't want my enemy, whoever he or whatever it may be, think I'm passive and I'm not gonna take it, because they're gonna get back what they give. And I think that's the way our attitude should be with anything like this, especially when it comes to children and animals and stuff like that have no voice. That really rankles me. And I
That's
just
right.
wonder, how much of this is involved in a lot of this trafficking that's going on and all that,
You know what,
and
Dennis?
this
You know what, Dennis?
pedophilia, yeah, and
Yeah,
all this stuff. Yeah.
exactly. And that's what I was going to touch on right now, Dennis. Have you noticed that they give? Okay, this is how bad our judicial system is. Have you noticed that they give a child rapist or molester or even a child killer, whatever? Have you noticed that they only give them like maybe 15, 20, 25 years, where they'll give a guy with drugs 50, 100 years, 150, things that are not as bad as child pedophilia and and necrophilia and murdering and all that. Have you noticed? And do you know why? Because most of the people in the judicial system, like judges, especially judges, they they're either them or they know somebody that are pedophiles, and that's why they give the pedophiles a break, and they don't give them as bad as anybody else. That maybe a kid that kind of went insane and killed his parents. Oh, they'll give them life. You know what I mean? Easy. But why don't they do that to the pedophiles that hurt children and kill children and abuse children? Why don't they do that? Because they're part of it. That's why. It's buddy system.
Hmm.
They look out for each other. That's why.
Yeah. And that's the most, Carlito, that's the most dangerous aspect of all of this, okay? We don't know how deep it truly goes. And you don't know, just like the X Files, who can you trust? trust no one. You know, you can't trust very many because you just don't know how deep this is going and who may be involved in it. And that is the murky water kind of a thing about it. You know. Definitely. But that makes this aspect of that so dangerous, since you don't know who's involved, what's involved. But I feel without a doubt that there are definitely public figures,
Oh
politicians,
yeah,
a
man.
lot of this stuff that are pulling the
If you would
strings in
really
the
look into it,
background.
if you would really look into
Uh-huh.
it, Dennis, there's so many lawyers that are pedophiles, police officers that are pedophiles, judges that are pedophiles, congressmen, you name it, politicians. Oh man, it's ugly, brother. I really never went into. I've never really been into the like the black what is it called, the dark web or the deep web, because I don't have the stomach for any of that. But I've seen many videos where they talk about who goes in there, and it's a lot of those people, where they pay money to see those videos of children being molested or even killed on camera for their sexual
Mhm.
evil sexual
Mhm.
satisfaction. So I mean, it's crazy, man. It's really crazy, and that goes back to what you mentioned earlier about Hollywood. Now look at all the rappers, especially the rappers, and a lot of movie stars too, that are starting to expose the
Mhm.
Hollywood agenda, which is abusing the kids and the adrenochrome and all that. What we've been talking about.
Mhm.
Mel Gibson's putting his reputation on the line
Well, that's the
right now. Right now.
that's the number one
Yeah.
thing, the number one
Yeah.
factor, Colito, in the adrenochrome is the fact it's not just it gives you a high, and it's
Yeah.
not a sort of a recreational type of. It's
Nope.
actually attributes are it extends life and makes you younger.
Yes, exactly. That's why they use it. And I don't know if you noticed, but they're always talking about it. Pizza. Pizza is a word for being pedophile, whatever. Within Hollywood,
Mhm.
when they talk about pizza, they're talking about children. They're talking about pedophile type thing. You know,
Yeah.
like the artist, like Ellen DeGeneres. She said it a couple of times on on
Mhm.
on her, and they've been exposing a lot of actors and actresses that are
Mhm.
into that thing, and that's why they say pizza. This pizza,
Yep.
pizza that, pizza this, pizza that. But they're talking about that. That's their code of what they're talking about, of the rituals that they go through. Somebody had a great pizza party, whatever. That's what it was. It was the children
Well,
abusing
by
children.
God, I'm not ordering Little Caesars anymore.
Yeah, yeah. It goes deep, brother. It goes deep, man. You got to
Yeah.
know I go
Well,
deep into that.
like these movie actors and actresses. These movie actors and actresses, they make their living and their money off of their looks. Okay, that's how they make their dough. And they pursue this youth and this beauty and this stuff
Yes, yes.
to
They
that
use it. Yeah,
extent. And
yes,
I think
yes.
that's another factor in all of it. That
Sandra
they
Bullock is
want
one of
that.
them. Sandra Bullock is one of them. Ellen DeGeneres exposed her on her show. She's saying she was trying to say, she was trying to beat around the bush of what it was, what they use and this and that, or and she's like, it's children's blood. And she called her another name too. It wasn't Sandra. It was another name. I'm guessing that's her real name. And she said it's basically children's blood. And
Hmm.
Sandra's just got like really red, like, oh my God, she said that on national TV. But that's what it is. That's why they use that to keep themselves young. A lot of actors and a lot of actresses do that. Now
Hmm.
Hollywood thing, the
Yep.
elites, they make actors more famous if they join in their group, if they join in their cult or whatever. And that's where it comes where they have to wear a dress. Male actors that have to wear a dress sometime in their career, because that's what they ask them to
Hmm.
do. Uh, Also, I don't know if you noticed, a lot of rappers right now exposing the Hollywood agenda, with the kids and all that, and all their dirty rituals. Um, Ice Cube right now is real hot with that. He's exposing them. But how come he didn't expose them before, when they made him super famous and super rich? How come he didn't expose them then? Now he's exposing them. Cat Williams is exposing them. Cat Williams
No,
exposing
no,
other actors. Yeah. So it's all
would
coming
you
out. It's all coming out now. Mm-hmm.
would you think about somebody as old as Martha Stewart on the cover of Sports Illustrated? Think about that. And she's over 80, but she got to be pushing 90, I guess. But anyway, she's old in her 80s, definitely in the swimsuits and all that. And I'm saying, I'm scratching my head, going, "Oh, come on,
Nighthawk is over there rolling laughing.
what's really going on with this stuff, And and just almost, that's not normal. Okay, people, I don't care. You look at an 80-year-old woman. How many of them you want to see in a bikini? Okay, and how many would want to put a bikini on? Okay, when they get 80 years old, that's just not normal. Come on, you know. We wasn't born yesterday. We know something better than that. But and here's another thing I was reading just today. Just today. I don't know if you're familiar with Lara Logan. She's a very famous reporter. She was fired, I think, and got rid of off of
hanging out with
Fox. But anyway,
Dog so much that she's just starting to act.
Well, Lara Logan was talking about. She was reading an article that actually was defending pedophilia. It was actually defending it. And this, I don't know if this was the New York Times or whoever it was. And she said that, look at this. This trend is very disturbing. Why are they defending this stuff all of a sudden? And, I said this very same thing many years ago. And I said this. I said, if they do this and they do that, what's going to be next that they say is okay? Is it going to be child molestation? Is going to be okay next? And believe me, my words are becoming somewhat prophetic here, folks, because that's what they're going after. They're normalizing this abnormal thing. That's what they're good at.
Yep, it's like now they're trying to indoctrinate children with the gay pride thing in schools, and that's crazy. Why would they want to do that without the parents' consent? I seen a video today where I think it was TikTok, where a parent went in and surprised a bunch of men dressed as women, teaching the children that were there that it's okay to be gay and all this and that, and they're reading them books and all kinds. And the parent went in there, storming he was pissed. He was like, "What the hell is going on here? What are y'all trying to teach my child? This is so wrong in so many levels. What the hell?" And they were just, the transgender people were just trying to make like a circle where to keep them out or whatever. And I like, damn, that's crazy, dude. They're doing that in schools now? Wow. So what's next? You know what I mean? Like you said.
Yeah. Watch it. When you don't draw the line on anything anymore, that line's gone. And it's wide open.
Yeah. Yolanda said, "Have we seen the video of Beyonce with the evil face? Yeah, when she's dancing and they put it in pause when she has her head down and she goes up like this just a little bit, just like I am now, with all her hair, covering her, of course, and you can see like yellow demonic eyes." Yeah, we've seen that. That's crazy too, man. They say she and Jay-Z are in on it. They're part of the cult group, the elite cult group. That's why they're so super rich and famous.
Yeah, and that's what I've talked about. If you go back through time, to the different cultures, the blood rituals that went on. The blood is still the thing about all this. It's behind this. It instigates a lot of this. As the Bible says, the blood is the life, and how very true that is to a certain extent. And I was reading the other day, like there was a Mayan temple that was dedicated. This is, I think, about like 600 or some odd years ago, and they cut out 10,000 human hearts to dedicate it. Okay. That's why the steps on these temples are made that so the blood will roll down the steps and off the platforms easier.
Wow.
It was a culture of bloodletting, of blood sacrifice, and all that. And people say, "Oh, look at all those primitive people," but hey, How far are we from that today? That's what disturbs me. How far away are we from that concept almost? What's going on in the shadows and the background in this world among the very elite and
Yeah.
the rich and the powerful, the so called celebrities and all this stuff? What is really going on with that?
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Well,
still there.
I just remember they call it the club. You're not in the club, if you're not with the satanic rituals of the elite. If you're an actor, rapper, whatever you may be, if you're not with them, they're not gonna make you super famous and super rich. They're gonna let you make a little bit of money, but you're not gonna be super famous and super rich like Beyonce and
But I
Jay Z.
find out, I think this is interesting, Carlita, that
Hmm.
some actors, and I've kind of dabbled in acting myself. I've been in a movie and all that. I've kind of dabbled in a little bit myself. But here's the interesting thing: most actors are what I call a cookie cutter. They like it off on the assembly line. They all say and think the same thing. They're all for the same things that's going on. But once in a while, you have an actor like the one that did the movie, Cry for Freedom thing, Sound of Freedom, whatever the name of it is. You have actors like that in Mel Gibson that speak out against this thing. You got a
Yes,
few that they go
yes,
against the
yes,
I call the actor religion or whatever name you want to give it. There are a few that go against that, and
yeah.
I'm glad
It's
to see that they got courage, and they
yes,
should be recognized for being the
yes.
heroes that they
Right,
are
right,
because
yeah,
they're
right,
standing up. They're
right.
standing up.
Right now, it's Mel Gibson. Before him, it was Jim Carrey. Remember? And remember how
Hmm.
they demolished his career? Like nobody was hiring him for any movies or whatever when he came out with the thing on Jimmy Kimmel, I think, where the sign like this, and he did the tongue
Hmm.
thing or whatever, and he's like, you know what this means? You know what it means? He's like, no, I don't know what it means. He was, of course, he was lying.
Oh yeah.
And remember when he did that? Well, after that, his
Yep.
career just boom plummeted down to the
Hmm.
ground. Like nobody was hiring him. He wasn't making any movies for about a good 5 or 6, 7 years or something like that. And now he's coming back. But I think it was
And
more like a penalty that they put on him because he was talking about it.
Robert Downey Jr.
Mm.
You remember Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah.
He had a bad drug problem. He was in prison and all that. And they asked him on the stage not long ago, said, "Who was the one person that helped you?" And he said, "He's right over there. He saved my life. He brought me back from the darkness." That's Mel Gibson, you
Wow.
know.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean that and like I said, Mel Gibson right now he's the main guy, So hopefully nothing happens to him because he's
Hmm.
exposing
Yeah.
Hollywood with their what is that? What is that place called? Something Grove, where they do their satanic rituals. What is it called, Dennis?
I'm sorry. The-
The where they do
Bohemian
their
Grove.
satanic Bohemian Grove. Okay, yeah. So there's been people and they're like infiltrate that, and they've actually had video of what they do of the sacrifices. And normally they have like
oh yeah.
a woman or something, kind of like being sacrificed, and they all go and
Hmm.
like stab her and drink the blood and all. Man, it's crazy, man. It's real. Yeah, Bohemian Grove. Thank you, Ozzy
Hmm.
Shiro. Yeah. So I mean, all that is, it's coming to the light, guys. It's coming to the light, man, and they can't hide it anymore. You know what I mean? So what's their next move? Is what I'm trying to think right now. Okay, yeah, we know all about it. It's coming out. What's their next move to make that go away? What smoke curtain are they going to do now? Maybe AI, maybe fake
Hmm.
alien invasion. What could it be? That's what my mind is like. What are they going to do now to try and hide that? You know what I mean? Because it's out in the open now. It's out there now. I mean, it's too
I
late.
think, I think Carlito, they're gonna use the AI definitely because it's a great tool to look at it. I mean, it's just asking to be used in that manner. But also, they're also going to use social networking. I think more to try to I think do more of their mind seeding and all this other stuff. I think there may be that's fertile ground there too. And of course, they're going after the children. That's why they say they're coming after the children. They're going after the children because that's the future. And and here's another thing about it: the children become indoctrinated. They bring that into the home unit as well. See, so that's another weapon, you might say, that can be used against society.
You know
They
another
say,
weapon. You know another weapon.
they bring that in. Yeah,
Biological viruses, like they tried with,
go ahead.
The pandemic. I like to call it pandemic because it was all planned. With especially Bill Gates, he's the one that brought it out. With the COVID-19, they're talking about uh,
Yeah.
a stronger and more lethal one coming out in 2024 or 25. They're talking about that it's coming.
I've heard that. Yeah.
And nobody's talking about COVID-19 anymore whatsoever. By the way, like it just
Well, right now
magically
they've even
disappeared.
got a super strain of syphilis going on. Yeah, I don't know if you heard about that, but they're bringing that up as sort of like maybe another pandemic. But
Biological
it's not
weapon.
surprise me if that's not what's down the line.
Yeah,
Because they're
it's
gonna. Here's the thing about it,
biological
Carlito.
weapon. Yeah, exactly. They're
They're
trying every
gonna
which
they're
way
gonna
right now.
use
They're trying every way. You know what I mean? They tried with
they're
COVID
gonna use whatever
19.
it takes to
Now
retain
they're
and
gonna
keep
try
that
with another
power.
one. Yeah. Then AI. Then fake alien invasion. They're gonna try everything to control us, to scare the masses and control us. That's what I think.
Well, don't forget, Carlito, when you fight a war, you don't do it on just one front. You do it on many fronts. And that's what you see happening in our society right now. They're doing it on many fronts. It's an attack on that way.
Yeah.
And it's a siege. It's a siege against society as we know it today. And I don't know how old you are, but the world you were born into is completely different now than what
Yeah.
you're
It's not
living
the
in
same.
right
I
now.
know. I know. We shifted. We shifted.
You know.
We shifted timelines. I know that. I know that for a fact. A lot of people like to hesitate and wonder if we did or not. I think we did. I think we did in 2012 when it was predicted the world to end. I think it did. Our world ended, and we jumped into a parallel universe timeline that was rolling. Right next to us. Ours ended. Boom. We jumped to the next one, and now we're on that one. And it's called the Mandela effect. I don't know if a lot of you people heard of that, but I know for a fact it was Berenstein Bears, not Berenstain, because I used to read every single book. I love that series, and I used to remember asking because I was a kid, like maybe 5, 6 years old, and I remember asking my older brothers and sisters. I said, "How do you say this name?
Yeah.
Is it Berenstein, Berenstain, Beren what? Berenstein? Because there's a Stein." you know. And they said, no, it's Berenstein. I said, okay, cool. So I learned how to pronounce it right, and I remember it was EIN, Berenstein. Now it's AIN, Berenstain. So that changed completely. There's too many for me examples for me to go into, and it would take up the whole show. But there's just so many that I'm sure Fruit of the Loom brand had that cornucopia. That's what was holding all that fruit in there. The grapes, the apples, all that. The cornucopia, like for Thanksgiving, they used to use that a lot. The cornucopia thing, like a basket, woven basket with the little point at the
Yeah.
end. Well, it had that, and now it doesn't have that. So what I'm thinking is that they just changed it, or something. But it did have it. A lot of people saying no, it never had the cornucopia.
Well, let me
Yes,
tell
it
you
did.
something. Let me mention something
I
right
used to
quick
have
to you, and
underwears, Fruit of the Loom underwears,
this
and I know.
this might blow your mind a little, but and I've seen this not just us talking, not just about us talking, and some of the shows we've done and all that, but I'm having people come to me and tell me this is going on. I know of one author right now who's wrote a book about this. Reality is shifting on us to a certain extent. And it's done it not in a big way, you understand. It's in little small ways. Little synchronicity that I mentioned about earlier is going on. And this shifting of reality, I don't know if it started with CERN or if it's something else, and
Yeah, it
that
could have
might be
been.
part of the equation,
Yeah, it could
but
have been
not the whole
CERN.
thing.
Yeah, it could have been CERN, but
Yeah, I think it's a possibility. Yeah, but
absolutely.
people are telling me this. I've even had this happen to me. I told you about that one time before about my McDonald's incident. There's little things happening, and I've been telling people this for the last few weeks. keep your eyes open because things are not what they appear. Things are shifting here for some reason. Things are shifting, and I don't know if somebody's playing with us or somebody has screwed space and time continuum up or what the heck is going on with this. But to me, this is a very, very obvious danger of what's going on around us, whether the reptilians are involved with it, whether it's demonic, whatever name you want to give it. And I know AI may also be involved with this because here's the interesting thing, and I'm going to bring this up. You didn't hear that much about this until CERN started, and guess what? CERN is connected with AI. Okay, because that's part of what runs the halogen collider and all that thing. It has to have almost quantum computers. Okay. And when you talk about quantum computers, you're talking AI here, okay, folks? So, what's going on with this shifting in time? And I'll just give you a quick example. This author I'm telling you about, who I've been talking with a little bit, he's written a fascinating book about this. They were investigating this group that was in England, and they found out, like, okay, that this one lady they was looking for, they went to where her house was and her estate was. They came back later and there's this big monument to it there, and they said, how come we didn't see this before? And everybody said, what do you mean? It's always been there. But they said, without doubt, we did not see this here. Something has shifted, reality's shifting here. So I'm just warning folks, keep your eyes and keep your wits about you, because things are not what they are appearing to be here. Okay, something really freaky is going on.
Right, and if you notice that CERN logo has 666.
Yeah, hey guys, they're messing with our technology.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, see, that's another great tool.
Yeah,
another great tool, a weapon, is technology.
Oh, they're messing with the broadcast tonight. Okay.
Yeah, I'm having to fight it every step of the way.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, when you start looking into certain subjects, when you start talking about certain things, you're gonna get some pushback. Okay, that's just the way it goes. And I'm surprised they haven't interfered as much as they have tonight. But
this is more.
They will probably. Night's not over yet.
This is hacking.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I'm surprised
you're gonna get pushback. You're gonna get pushback, and I'm just telling people, just keep your eyes open, because we're all walking on dangerous, unknown ground here.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Nighthawk, William, are you not able to remove that thing or what on the screen? No. Oh, okay.
It won't let me do anything.
Oh,
it won't let me do anything except talk. I'm completely locked out of it.
Okay.
I'm trying to get back into it. I'm trying to get back into it right now.
Okay, that's fine. No, that's cool. At least we can still talk, and we're still broadcasting, so we're good. Dennis, I wanted to ask you, how likely do you think that they may be able to interconnect AI with a biological entity, like basically a half human, half robot, kind of like with I mean, and I'm not just talking about prosthetics. I'm talking like to think on its own, to feel maybe maybe not as much as we humans, but like kind of like Terminator, man. Where he he had his own thoughts. Not everything was just programmed. You know what I mean? And it was like kind of like half human, half robot. What do you think the odds of that happening is, Dennis? I mean, since since your topic is AI,
Oh, are we back?
Yeah. Yeah, I guess you were stuck there for a second, Dennis. I was asking you,
I
Dennis.
had to fight tooth and nail to get that.
Out. Yeah, Dennis, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Okay. So I was asking you, how likely do you think it would be for them to basically make a Terminator, half human, half machine, or half AI?
I think so. Yeah, I think we've gotten to that point. Yeah. You remember that movie Westworld, the old movie years ago?
What?
Um,
No, I don't.
in Westworld, the one factor was you couldn't hardly tell the robots from the humans. Same thing with Blade Runner, you know. And like I said earlier, Hollywood's given us some clues on some of these things I think is happening. And I think we're looking at a world in the future. Our future
Well,
is this.
okay, okay,
In
hold
our
on, hold on,
future,
hold
we
on.
may not know what's a real human being anymore and what's not.
Okay,
You know,
exactly,
that's
and
a
that's what I was
scary
gonna say.
thought.
Do you remember the
Yeah.
movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger where he was in the future, and I think they were in Mars or something like that? Do you remember that movie? What was the
Yep.
name of that movie?
Mm.
What was the name of that movie?
I know what you're talking about. RoboCop. Yeah.
No, no,
Is
no,
that the
no.
one
It
you
was
talking about?
no. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Eraser.
Oh,
Something like that. Well,
okay.
they were half
Uh,
human and half robot, you know, or half alien or something. Where
oh
the
yeah, you're
guy,
talking
Eraser.
about. I know what you're talking about. I can't think of the name of it. I know
yeah,
what
it was,
movie you're talking about.
yeah, it was like in the
Uh,
late '90s, I think it was. Man, Running Man or something like that, was it?
yeah, something
Was
like that.
Eraser.
It might have been Running Man or something. Yeah, something like
Something
that. I
like
remember.
that.
I remember the movie. Yeah. It was one thing. They had a synthetic robot body that could make you look like something else. Like you remember looking at an
Yeah,
old woman, you know. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I'm looking it up right now. I don't know if it was no, it wasn't Blade Runner. Blade Runner was it Blade Runner? No, no, it
hmm
wasn't.
No, Blade Runner was
It was a different one, right?
Yeah. But Blade Runner was like that too. You didn't know who was
Yeah.
human and
Running
who
Man.
wasn't. Yeah. Running Man.
Running
Yeah.
Man.
Was it Running Man?
Yeah.
I think
I
Yeah,
think
so.
it's the
the
Running
Running
Man was
Man
the
was
name of
with
it. I think.
the gladiators.
hmm
Yeah. It was like in the future, and there was like half robot, half
Yeah,
human taking
Running Man
world.
was with the gladiators.
Yeah. Anyway, I remember that movie well because he had it was neat how he was able to disguise himself, try to get away from the authorities with
Yeah.
this robotic type outer shell that he could use. Um, a lot of good special effects in that movie, if I remember correctly. But you know, I
Total
think that
Recall.
may be
Total
our
Recall.
future. That's a possibility that's going to be our future. We're not going to know what's human and what's not anymore out there walking around. Right now, if you've got enough money, Carlito, you can buy a sex bot.
Yeah.
You can buy a robot that looks like a woman that will play out whatever fantasies you want, rape
Yeah.
fantasies and
Yeah.
all that,
Yeah. Yeah.
all
Yeah.
this
Yeah. Yeah.
junk. And you
Yeah.
can buy it. I mean, this is a rich man's toy, but that's not. That's what our future is about.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
these things
I
are
looked
going
it
to
up.
come
It
to
was
pass.
it's called Total Recall. The movie was Total Recall with Arnold Schwarzenegger. You guys remember that? Total Recall.
Total Recall. Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah, Total Recall. Couldn't think of the name of it.
And I think they're what was that movie where they had like where you can pay and wear like a
hmm
VR type of thing, and you can go like anywhere you wanted in the world, kind of like a vacation, dream
Yeah,
vacation.
and you know, Logan's Run was the same way. Remember Logan's
Yeah,
Run, where
yeah,
if you got to the age of 30, they killed you. They got rid of you. You know, and he was a runner. He was a runner. He would keep people from running, and it turned out he turned 30, and then he went on the run. You know, so but that's what society. I think we're looking at a very similar society like that in the future. That these things, And here's the thing about it, okay, about technology, and I think technology is the new catalyst that we're looking at here. Technology is what's going to be our future, and we may be either masters of it or slaves of it. But I think we'll probably end up being slaves to it more than the masters. You know.
Absolutely, yeah. That's what they want us to be, slaves. So they're going to try to get rid of all of us people that oppose to them, and they're going to try to leave only the people that are that abide by their rules. And I mean. That's what I've been seeing for years now. That the people that are against them, they're gonna try to capture them and send them to concentration camps. And the people that do abide by their rules and whatever they want them to do, then they get to live a normal life. But they control that normal life because they're gonna tell you where you're gonna work, how much money you're gonna make, what family you're gonna have, all that. They're gonna control you, and you're gonna have the basically what is called the mark of the beast, which is a chip. They're gonna put a chip right here, right in between your thumb and your index finger, and on that you're gonna be able to pay your house, pay your mortgage, pay your bills, pay your food at the grocery store, whatever, and that's how they're gonna try to control everyone in the future. I already see it coming. And that's what they
Well, you know,
and if you notice, that's what they did on that movie with oh my god, it was Wesley Snipes and Sandra Bullock and Sylvester Stallone. Do you remember that movie? That's what they did. That's what they did with them.
oh
But
yeah.
the people that were opposed to what the government was doing, they lived underground, under the cities. Do you remember that? Those were like the outcasts, or or the outlaws or whatever. And that so they've been telling us for years what's going to happen with the movies. The people don't believe the things in the movies, that
Uh-huh.
those things are real. Those things are going to happen, but just people don't
Oh yeah, yeah.
realize that they don't realize that
Yep.
they're telling us
Judge
everything through
Dredd.
the movies. Judge Dredd, yeah, that movie right there. That was a good movie, man. And you remember that the what was that guy's name? Dennis Leary, I think it was. He was
Uh-huh.
which he was a comedian back in the 80s and 90s. Well, Dennis Leary, he was like
Yeah.
the main guy, like the leader of the underground
Uh-huh.
uh,
Uh-huh.
people. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I don't know. It's just I know it's conspiracy theories, guys. I know, but I really believe that these things are going to happen sometime in the future. What do you think, William?
Yep.
Can you
Well,
hear us,
it's
William? I
like I
guess
said
not.
earlier, it's like
I think
Hollywood's
it's
kind of playing a cat and mouse game with us and
already
giving us
happening, to tell
clues
you
to
the
this
truth.
stuff.
Just it's not out in public eye yet.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's some freaky stuff going on. I'm telling you. Like I
They are
say,
really
people,
messing with our
uh,
podcast tonight,
we're
guys. We're
gonna,
gonna have to get off the air.
yeah, I see that. There's a
yeah,
Yeah,
delay. Yeah, I see that.
yep.
Well, AI is already here, Dennis. So it's just a matter of time when they actually make it go into effect, where they use it against us. You know what I mean? That's
Oh
what I
yeah.
think.
And once AI becomes self-aware, and it's very close to that. I mean, they've even got AI programs now that are very close to being able to read your thoughts. Okay, by the very actions of your eyes and your facial expressions and all that. When it becomes self-aware and realizes, and it's very close to that now, it will then survival will kick in for it. And it's going to say, and here's the number one question it's going to ask itself: what's my greatest threat? And what is AI's greatest threat? Mankind.
Right. Yeah. That's absolutely right. Wow. Did you see that, William? Dennis was knocked out of the broadcast. There he is. He's coming back. Wow, that's crazy.
A pilot would do, you know. And the AI had it going where it wanted, and they said, "Okay, let's just call it off now and turn back." And AI would not do it.
We're right.
AI
We're right, guys. That's
would
why they're
not
messing with us because
stop
we're
the
right.
drone.
We're right. Yes.
Yeah, it would not stop the drone, and it said, "No, because here's the
It's
reason
crazy
why it
tonight.
wouldn't
I'm
stop the
telling you,
drone."
it's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, we're
I'm
speaking nothing
I'm
but facts.
literally
That's why
trying
they're
to keep
messing with
this
us.
thing together.
Yeah, we're speaking facts. That's why they're messing with us. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey, that makes me happy because now I know I'm right. I'm cool with it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you know, when your Frankenstein monster returns on you sooner or later one day. That's the moral to that story. Okay.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think, William? I don't know if William's audio is out or seems like he can't get in. I don't even know if they're messing with his camera. Yeah, they messed with his camera now. Oh man, they knocked Dennis. Dennis, you didn't notice. You didn't notice, but they knocked you out for a couple seconds, Dennis. You hear me?
Yep.
You were knocked out of the podcast for a couple of seconds, Dennis.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
Yeah. Now it's William. I guess I'm
That's
next.
a weird. We're
Yeah.
getting the pushback, definitely.
Yeah. And you know another thing too, Dennis, is that speaking of AI, you know there's so much advanced technology now that I was watching because I love watching like true crime stories and interviews and all that, right? And I was watching one today where you wouldn't think it, but they have cameras everywhere now. There's this guy, right? There's this guy that killed his parents and he chopped them up into pieces. Well, they found out who he was and they went back all around town to check every store camera to see where he had went. And he had went to Home Depot. They saw him there. He went to Walmart. They saw him there, and the things that he was buying things to get rid of the evidence. You know, of course, he was buying like duct tape. He was buying like Clorox. He was buying like some plastic drums. It was crazy. But anyway, they got cameras everywhere now, bro. Yeah. Places you wouldn't even think they have cameras. They have cameras now. So that's another way of keeping track of everybody. Hey, William, nice to have you back, brother.
Well, here's one more interesting thing, and I'll say this before I guess we're about to wrap it up here in a little bit, but I'll say this: it's a weird thing.
I can't
what's
even
going
see you
on
guys.
what's going on with the corporations getting into politics? I mean, look at the thing with Bud Light and all this other stuff. Why are all these big corporations suddenly wanting to get into the society and social order of things? That is the industrial military complex, is it not? That's part of it. And they're trying to manipulate society. They're trying to indoctrinate us in the way we want to go. And just like we were talking about AI, okay? No matter how smart it becomes, no matter how self aware it is, there is one important factor missing out of every bit of that. It does not have a soul.
Unbelievable.
We can hear you, William.
Messing with this channel.
We can hear you, man. If you want to,
yeah, they are still really messing with this channel.
Yeah.
I'm going in and out here. I hear you for 1 minute, and the next minute you're cutting out on me. I don't know what's going on. Weird stuff.
I feel like I'm on a sinking ship, and I'm holding it together with bubble gum and spit.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it's been a tough one. I know.
That's like
It's been
that
a
old
tough one to
sailor
know.
said. He said, I feel like I'm on a sinking ship and I'm trying to bail it with a cup and it's got a hole in it.
Sink a ship, and all he's got is a bucket trying to get the water out.
Yep.
Man, oh
Oh
man,
man,
this is ridiculous. Now Dennis
yeah.
is gone.
Oh man.
You- We're gonna have to pick this up again. We're gonna have to
Yeah,
pick this up again. We might have to do a separate broadcast.
yeah,
So we're gonna pick this up again.
yeah,
So,
definitely.
anyways, if anybody can hear me out there, man, we're gonna have to close this down. They're just messing with my system too much. They're trying to hack me too, as I'm speaking right now. So, um, I definitely
Yeah,
got some issues I got to take care of here. So,
yeah,
everybody, I want to thank you for watching and thank you for the mods and all that. Thank you, Dennis and Carlito, for being here. And we're going to pick this up again. I'm not going to say exact date and time, but we are here every Friday night. But I'm not going to let them know the next time we come on.
yeah.
So we're just going to come on. So, all
Yeah, there you go.
right, all right, everybody. Thank you. Have a good night.
Absolutely, man. Good night,
Like a
guys.
this.
Peace out.
Now they're not even going to let me end it. Look at that. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. They're literally trying to control my cursor.
They are. I think they might have hacked into your stuff, and that's why you can't really move anything around.
I had to just cut the feed completely, William. See if that'll do it.
No, more than one way to skin a cat.
What happens if you power it off completely, William?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to. I'll catch
Yeah.
up with you guys later.
Okay. Okay. Alrighty. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and leave the studio, guys. See if that works. Hopefully. All right. Y'all have a good night, man. Thank you, guys. Peace out. See you on the next one.
Yep, you too, Carlito.
Alrighty.
Alrighty. Come on. All right.